The drama over at Nissan continues to compile, build up, overflow. Nissan is bribing dealers to buy cars from their factories because they don't want to sell them to fleet. We're going to get into this and how this is a nightmare situation. But before we do, make sure to come back tonight. If you're watching this the day of, I'm going to live stream the reveal of the QX80. There have been leaks already, but I want to do it the traditional way here. We'll be doing a live stream celebration together, hanging out and welcoming the new glimmer of hope for Infiniti as well as Nissan. The Infiniti QX80 will also have a Nissan Armada counterpart and Patrol counterpart for other parts of the world. So it's a pretty big deal. No pun intended. It's a huge SUV. So let's get into the shenanigans going on right now for Nissan. And if you enjoy this coverage, smash the like button. Make sure you're subscribed. At Automotive News, Nissan is offering some US dealers cash on the hoods to take inventory in 11th hour wholesale push. Nissan is offering from $500 to $2,000 for every vehicle retailers accept. Dealers are already struggling with triple-digit days supply. So let's take a step back. Just a few weeks ago, Nissan's fleet sales were surging. Over 44% of their total sales from Nissan was fleet. They don't make money on fleet. They don't like selling fleet if they can help it, because when you flood the rental agencies with cars at wholesale prices, then those vehicles are turned over within a year or two at those rental agencies. They flood the used car market. And so those prices plummet. It really hurts resale on new and used by selling so much to fleet. Last year, Nissan's wholesale volume was 17%, while its competition was less than 10%. This year so far, it's looking like it's over 44%. Well, at least it was in February. That could be changing. But they're kind of just shifting the needle and shifting the inventory not to wholesale, but to dealers. They would rather give them to dealers to pad the dealers as much as possible. But also, Nissan knows that if they sell that high of a volume, selling them to rental fleets just is going to, and that it just continues that death spiral. That was a video I made last week. This is them trying to figure out how to get out of that death spiral. But the Nissan dealers are hurting so much, it's still not going to benefit them to take hundreds of dollars, if not thousands of dollars per vehicle to add them to their inventory that doesn't move. With its fiscal year coming to a close next week, Nissan is paying its dealers cash on the hood to take vehicles from a backlog of unsold factory inventory. Nissans are piling up in the parking lots outside of Nissan factories. Nissan retailers began receiving emails and calls last week from factory reps offering $500 to $2,000 for every vehicle dealerships take. Several of the 8 retailers Automotive News interviewed across the U.S. have received cash offers, and the retailers who requested not to be identified said the bonus money varies by model line and market region. Nissan is quiet on the matter, of course. Many retailers are saying Nissan's targeted wholesale effort is anti-competitive and damages factory-dealer relations. What's seemingly going on is that some dealers are getting these cash incentives to receive these cars and other dealers are not. It seems like it's prioritizing maybe the super high volume selling dealerships because they're really good at selling Nissans over maybe the lower small town mom and pop Nissan dealerships. Favoring some dealerships over others violates franchise laws in many states, not all states. So maybe they're focusing the states they know that the laws don't pertain to there. They can offer some dealerships incentives per car and other dealers not. But that seems pretty lowball sort of business dealing right there. These Nissan dealers are already struggling to move the inventory they have. So here's the triple-digit supply at the end of February. And it's about 21 days more than Hyundai, 44 days more than Kia, more than double Honda, and about triple that of Toyota. The industry average is 76, so they're 30% higher or slower at selling cars than the industry average and 3 times slower than Toyota and 2 times slower than Honda. It is ridiculous. One retailer who was aware of the effort but had not received an offer said Nissan could be engaging in two-tier pricing by not making the program available network-wide. The cash payment allows a dealer to effectively purchase the same product at a lower cost than another. So you have Nissan dealership A in, let's say, Missouri, and Nissan dealership B in Nebraska. They border each other. The Nebraska one is $1,000 cheaper immediately compared to the Nissan one in Missouri. That's sketchy, but due to the laws, they might be able to get away with it. But are their dealers happy? No. Remember, back in November, we looked at the dealers who had the least amount and most amount of trust in their brands. Least trusted brands on a percentage of dealers. Nissan is the second least trusted brand out of all the companies. Ford beat them out by a considerable margin, but there's Infiniti as well down there in the bottom 5 as well, compared to Toyota, Lexus, Subaru, Honda, all of them other Japanese makes. They're much more trusted throughout the industry compared to Nissan. Dealerships worry that Nissan is picking winners and losers with this program. It can give a dealer competitive advantage over the guy down the street who is not offered the same bonus or cannot take the additional cars. Some dealers said they're frustrated Nissan would go this route and spend money on wholesale programs instead of keeping vehicles competitive through normal pricing throughout the year. The problem is that Nissan's car prices got too expensive during COVID. Most car prices got too expensive during COVID, but Nissan seems to be more out of whack. Now that the dust is settled after COVID, Nissan is there selling the slowest out of all the other manufacturers. No one wants their cars in relation to Honda, Toyota. Even the Koreans are kicking their butt and moving metal at a faster clip. And Nissan apparently has repeatedly said it doesn't have the budget to put more incentives on cars to help them retail them. But apparently Nissan has no problem incentivizing certain dealerships to move metal compared to others. Not biting. So we've already talked about the bait. Nissan's putting bait on the hood for the dealers to buy these cars because Nissan does not want to sell them to fleet. Again, to continue that death spiral of bottoming residual value of their used cars. Some of the dealers are saying Nissan had offered them this bait, this up to $2,000 per vehicle, but they declined because the bonus money was inadequate and doesn't solve a much more fundamental problem, a lull in consumer interest. Why are people not interested in Nissans compared to Honda, Toyota, the Koreans? Well, it could be as simple as, I don't think it's design because Nissan has well-designed exteriors. I think their interiors are nice enough. Problem is, I think the Jatco CVT has crippled their reputation. Also, we know that if you buy a Nissan instead of lease it, if you buy it, the residual value falls out of the floor due to the huge amount of fleet sales. And Nissan knows that their average customer is paycheck to paycheck, and with extremely high interest rates, the restarting of student loans, all these other factors playing into the current economy and inflation stripping the extra purchase power that buyers typically have, their buyers are out of the market. But add insult to injury, Nissan also doesn't have hybrids here in North America. They decided to do the Leaf. They decided to do the Aria. No one cares about them. If they want an electric vehicle, there are better options out there. And so what are you left with? Well, you're left with pretty uncompelling Nissan products. No hybrids. They're too expensive for what they are. They have a bad reputation if they have the Jatco CVT. It's not a terrible CVT. It's pretty quick and snappy, but people are scared of them. They don't want to buy them due to the horror stories they've heard with them failing in and out of warranty. All right, let's keep moving. It only moves the asset from Nissan's balance sheet to the dealer's balance sheet and makes the dealers pay more for flooring costs. Yes, dealers pay, I don't know, $50, $60 a day to keep those vehicles on the floor, on the dealership lot. So let's say you have, I'm just going to say $50 times 104 days. It's costing dealerships $5,000 in theory. This is very theoretical, but multiple thousands of dollars just to keep a Nissan on the lot, okay, before it sells. And if they're only getting $800 minus, what was that, $5,200, they're losing $4,400 despite Nissan bribing them. Now, maybe there are certain lots that their flip rate is not 104 days like we saw right here. That's the average. That means there are dealers that are selling way slower than this, and there are dealers selling maybe in the 60s. So maybe Nissan's offering the dealerships that are able to move their cars around 60 days. But even then, what's 60 times 50 is still $3,000. They're still losing money by taking those vehicles with the cash on the hood. It's better than nothing, right? But it's not enough, even for those who are selling at a faster clip. One dealer with a day supply in the high 90s, so a little bit faster moving rate than the 104 average days. That dealership was offered $30,000 to take 45 additional vehicles in March. Well, 30,000 divided by 45, that's $666 per vehicle. That's nowhere near the money that they need to have a neutral balance there on the vehicle. Why would I take more cars and pay 7% in flooring, he asked. I'm going to chew through that extra incentive money in 4 to 5 months. Exactly. Another retailer with nearly 100-day supply across multiple Nissan stores says he didn't take any of the 44 vehicles offered despite the extra cash. The dealer said he was currently paying $130,000 in monthly floor plan interest. Let's say they sell 130 cars a month. I have no idea, but it's anywhere. I would say it's anywhere from $600 to $1,000 per vehicle a month, seemingly, with this sort of floor plan interest that we're seeing. We're not turning enough vehicles over the last couple of months to offset the higher interest rates. One dealer said he's had the worst start to the year ever, worst start, and blamed it on the lack of incentives and marketing support. One of the dealers saying we don't have 0% for 36-month financing on the Rogue as Hyundai has on the Tucson. Yes, it's good to have that low of interest on 36 months. But guys, who has the budget? 0% financing. So let's say your Rogue is $35,000. I mean, I know they can get cheaper than that, but divided by 36, so your monthly payment is $1,000 a month at 0% interest even at that point. What Nissan buyer is happy to spend $1,000 a month, even at 0% financing, if it was available for 36 months? No one's out there. For $900 a month, you can get a much nicer vehicle and lease a luxury car, for example. So also you have dealers cutting back on ordering new vehicles. So not only is Nissan offering more vehicles to be taken with money, dealers are doing the complete opposite because they can't move what they already have. And again, if there's 7% interest on that vehicle, it's already costing them $600 to $1,000 a month for that vehicle just to sit on the lot for 3 months. It just doesn't make sense for them to take more cars where they're just soaking up money, rotting the lot away, rotting those dealership dollars. To compensate, since the dealers aren't interested in taking more volume, Nissan is turning to more fleet sales. They have as many as 24,000 2023 Rogues still sitting around. Typically, those are all sold off by the end of December. And here we are mid-March, late March at this point. There's still 24,000 Rogues still unsold from the previous model year. And check this out. As I was doing my editing, I looked up 2023 Rogues. Still available out there. They're like $9,000 off MSRP. Check out this one. 29 grand. It's selling for $20,800 in Illinois. And here's one in Florida, right? Pretty close to me. Same trim level, $7,000 off. They can't get rid of these Rogues or any Nissan, I would say. Here's the thing. I'm not just hating on Nissan. I'm worried for the dealers. I'm worried for the brand. The Frontier, the Armada, fantastic. The Aria's, I wouldn't mind having that as a daily EV, but I'd have to get a really good price on it. Oh, the Pathfinder is pretty good too, but the rest of them are pretty much lease specials. The GTR and Z are outliers that don't really fall into the volume mix that we're talking today. With that being said, let's get into Kirk in the past. Also, Nissan trimmed their production of Rogue 6% this first quarter of 2024. But keep in mind, Nissan wants to bring all Rogue production back to Japan because it's just too costly for them. They put an ultimatum on their suppliers to say, if you cannot reduce your prices, suppliers, by 20%, we have to move all this production back to Japan to make it profitable for them. There's no way suppliers can just say, "Oh, we can cut our prices for you 20%, Nissan. We're eating steak dinners every night." Suppliers don't make a lot of money in comparison to the OEMs traditionally. Right, Nissan doesn't seem to be making a whole lot of money right now, but dealers have said Nissan has historically struggled with oversupply because of its business strategy. Under Carlos Ghosn, before he got fired and sacked and put in a jail cell in Japan and then snuck out through musical equipment to Lebanon, his home country. But before all that craziness happened, Carlos Ghosn was volume, 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 volume. And so Nissan was at its peak in 2017. Let's go to car figures and we look at yearly sales here. Yeah, Carlos Ghosn got sacked in 2018. In 2017, they hit a peak of 1.4 million Nissan sold in 2017. A ton of them being fleet sales, right? So this is a part of Nissan's DNA, and it's going to be a long time before they can shed that old skin that built them up to be a volume company, not necessarily a profitable company, but a high volume company. It's going to take a long time. Maybe working with Honda with the most recent announcements will help them long term, but we won't see the fruits of that cooperation between Nissan and Honda for 3-4 more years from now. It's hard to say. But I got to go. The baby's crying. I need to help out with the family. But instead of just ranting on Nissan, if you guys are able to make it to the live stream tonight, I'll see you there. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.